my father was an opera singer, so and he sang at a lot in churches and stuff like that. Both my grandfathers were ministers, so I was around music, but not the kind of music that really appealed to me. So when I was 3 years old, my recollection is I walked on stage during The Barber of Seville, and people went, "Ah!" and started laughing and clapping, and I thought, that's what I like. And I still like it when they laugh and clap. So I based my occupation and my hobby and my love on laughter and clapping. Not the clap, I don't care about that. But, laughing and clapping. And I started at 3 years old. My parents always had, piano in the house, and but that didn't appeal to me either. It started to appeal to me when early TV started. I would hear these, I'm not sure about what years they were, but I taught myself how to play guitar by, and I'll give you a few examples of the TV shows that were on, like Peter Gunn, da 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 da, and have Gun Will Travel, da 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 da. So I didn't know what I was doing, but I could play the melody. I knew what melody was, and that's how I kind of taught myself how to play guitar, just by TV shows, playing to their, because that was kind of the hippest music that was around. Otherwise I'd be listening to Pat Boone and or secular or sacred music or opera, which none of it appealed to me. So the stuff that I first liked was TV shows, and I learned how to play guitar that way. And so I never had any training on that. I started out as a drummer, actually. When I was 8 years old, we moved from the Chicago suburbs to Rockford, Illinois. My dad bought a music store, and so I started taking drum lessons right away. And I played drums until I found out that there's too much junk to carry, and it was easier to find somebody else that could count to 4. Drummer, 1, 2, 3, 4, start over. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what they do. A little more complicated than that, but then because I started to play with other players, and they would always play the wrong notes, and I didn't know what the right notes were, but I could figure it out. And they didn't have the ear for it, and I'd had the ear for it, and so I switched to guitar, and now I can't play the drums, and I still don't know what I'm doing on guitar, but here we are. By the time I was about 14 or 15, the Beatles came around, and it's like, oh, because I liked the Ventures too, because I started playing, the Ventures were, all instrumental stuff too. And the Beatles came around, the Rolling Stones came around, the Kinks came around, the Who came around, and that was the Yardbirds. That was Jeff Beck is still my favorite guitar player to this day. And so it was like, that was the kind of the early stuff I liked. But I had a lot of blues records. I had stuff by the Orlons, them Terrible Boots, and South Street. I didn't know who the bands were, but I knew the sounds that I liked. And I liked Gene Pitney. He was a cool singer too. And before you knew it, it's like I was. We'd have these dances at the YMCA and the YWCA on Friday or Saturday nights. I'd always go there and see the bands that were there. Tommy Rowe and the Romans, I remember that. And out of that band, the bass player ended up to be with the Allman Brothers, I think, Barry Oakley. And just a lot of different things that I saw. The bands I liked, I don't know why. I still have my ticket stubs when I saw the Rolling Stones in Chicago at the Erie Crown Theater in 1963 or 4. I can't remember. I could find it. I was more of a Rolling Stones fan than I was a Beatles fan, even though I have a ticket to the Beatles at Shea Stadium, and I didn't go. I still got the ticket though. Want to buy it? My first rock show that I went to Dick Clark's Caravan of Stars, and that had Gene Pitney was on it, and one of my other guitar players, Wayne Eddy, and I got an autograph from him. He sent it to me. That was pretty cool. I got a record deal in 1968 and that was Tom was in that too. We were called the Grim Reapers, and the record company changed our name to Fuse, and we had a record out on Epic Records, and we were produced by Jackie Mills, who produced at that time Bobby Sherman, and he also produced, hold your hats, Telly Savalas. The album, which I'm sure most of you have, Telly Like It Is. And that was Jackie Mills. We did that first record, and I was the first guy in America to own a Mellotron. It was in 1968. I went to England, and I wanted a Mellotron, and I went to Orange Music in London and bought a used Mellotron from Cliff Cooper, who still is the head of Orange to this day. And I can't even imagine it today, but then I had it shipped over by boat to the U.S., and I was on our first album, which I think it came out in 69, but I recorded in 68. Cheap Trick didn't come out until 1977. But in the meantime, I was the guitar player for Bo Diddley, Del Shannon, Freddie Cannon, the Shirelles, Chuck Berry. And then after that, I was like the background guy. We played with Freddie King. The night that Otis Redding died in a plane crash at Lake Monona, I was in the band The Grim Reapers. It was the night that he crashed, and so we never got to play with him. And also I saw Jimi Hendrix with a soft machine, 2 shows, $3.50 at the factory in Madison, which ended up to be our office for about 20 years, 520 University Avenue, or no, 315 West Gorham. How about that?